Kylian Mbappé paid tribute to Cristiano Ronaldo after equaling the Portuguese star's annual goal record for Real Madrid, but the milestone did little to shift the critical tone surrounding the team's performances under head coach Xabi Alonso. Real Madrid defeated Sevilla 2-0 at the Santiago Bernabéu, securing a third consecutive victory this season. Yet the result was met with skepticism from Spanish media and sections of the home crowd. Following the match, Mbappé spoke openly about the significance of matching Ronaldo's tally of 59 goals in a calendar year, describing the former Real Madrid icon as both a personal inspiration and a close friend. The French forward explained that his celebration was deliberately dedicated to Ronaldo, whom he credits with helping him adapt to life in Madrid. "I tied my idol's record today, Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest player in this club's history," Mbappé said. "My celebration was for him. He's my friend and my hero." Mbappé expanded on that relationship, noting the support he received from Ronaldo after arriving at the club. "He's always been very good to me. He helped me adapt to Madrid and now we have a great relationship. I want to wish him a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year," he added. Despite the personal milestone, the atmosphere at the Bernabéu reflected deeper concerns about the team's overall performance. Real Madrid struggled to impose itself against Sevilla, who played with 10 men for part of the match. Jude Bellingham opened the scoring, while Mbappé sealed the result from the penalty spot. The win ensured 3 points, but it did not convince critics that the team is progressing. Spanish newspaper Marca offered a particularly harsh assessment, suggesting that while Real Madrid won again, Xabi Alonso lost once more in terms of performance and authority. The publication described a side that continues to regress, arguing that the result masked a lack of cohesion and improvement. According to the report, the team's football failed to match the club's historical standards, even in victory. The Bernabéu crowd reflected that frustration. Vinícius Júnior was whistled during parts of the match, and although Mbappé's goal was celebrated, the applause did not fully disguise the tension inside the stadium. One headline summarized the mood bluntly: "A record among whistles. A Real Madrid that does not improve beats Sevilla." Another outlet emphasized that the victory did not ease pressure on Alonso, stating that the team played nothing as usual, and that only a penalty against a weakened opponent brought calm. The criticism highlights an ongoing narrative in Spain. Results alone may not be enough to secure Alonso's long-term future if performances continue to fall short. For Mbappé, however, the night carried emotional weight beyond the scoreline. The forward also reflected on what it meant to reach such a milestone wearing the Real Madrid shirt, recalling a childhood dream that has now become reality. "When I was a little boy, I used to say my dream birthday gift would be to play a game for Real Madrid," Mbappé said. "Tonight, that dream came true." Looking ahead, Mbappé struck a defiant and committed tone regarding the club's future. "In 2026, we will give our lives for this club," he stated. "We have so many things to prove." Cristiano Ronaldo, who has followed Mbappé's career closely, previously expressed his support for the Frenchman's move to Madrid. When Mbappé was officially announced as a Real Madrid player, Ronaldo commented publicly, saying he was eager to see the striker shine at the Bernabéu. Mbappé responded by sharing childhood photos of himself wearing the club's shirt, including one image alongside Ronaldo, underlining the symbolic connection between the two players. According to reports in the French press, Mbappé is expected to wear the number 9 shirt at Real Madrid, vacant since Karim Benzema's departure in 2023. He is also projected to inherit the iconic number 10 in the future, once Luka Modric's time at the club comes to an end. While Mbappé's record and statements provided a moment of celebration, the broader context surrounding Real Madrid remains uneasy. The team continues to win without convincing, and scrutiny of Xabi Alonso's project shows no signs of easing. As the season progresses, the contrast between individual milestones and collective uncertainty remains one of the defining narratives at the Bernabéu. Real Madrid's 2-0 victory over Sevilla did little to soften the critical tone of Spain's leading sports media, as doubts surrounding Xabi Alonso's project continue to intensify despite the club's third consecutive win. While the result extended Madrid's positive run on paper, The performance itself reinforced a growing perception that the team remains disconnected, tactically uncertain, and increasingly reliant on isolated moments rather than collective dominance. The match, played at the Santiago Bernabéu, unfolded against a tense backdrop. Real Madrid struggled to impose rhythm or authority for long stretches, even after Sevilla were reduced to 10 men. Spanish newspapers emphasized that numerical superiority failed to translate into sustained pressure, structured attacking play, or clear tactical superiority. The victory was ultimately secured through a penalty, a detail that became central to post-match analysis questioning the true value of the result. Marca's assessment was particularly severe, framing the night as another example of Madrid winning while Alonso loses credibility. The outlet argued that the coach appeared increasingly detached from his players, noting visible frustration on the bench and a lack of on-field cohesion. According to the report, the team's football shows few signs of evolution and in some phases, appears more fragile than earlier in the season. AS echoed similar concerns, highlighting the atmosphere inside the Bernabéu as a symptom of deeper dissatisfaction. Whistles directed at Vinícius Júnior were interpreted not as a rejection of the player's quality, but as an expression of broader discontent with the team's performances. The crowd's reaction underscored the demanding standards of the stadium, where results alone rarely suffice without convincing football. Kylian Mbappé's goal, which allowed him to equal Cristiano Ronaldo's record of 59 goals in a single calendar year, briefly shifted attention away from the collective issues. However, several outlets described the moment as strangely muted. The milestone, while historically significant, was portrayed as disconnected from the broader narrative of the match, serving more as an individual achievement than evidence of a functioning team. El record vale tan poco como esta victoria, one headline summarized, suggesting that both the record and the result failed to address the underlying problems facing the club. The critique centered on Real Madrid's inability to control games, dictate tempo, or consistently generate chances through structured play, particularly against opponents operating with a numerical disadvantage. Internally, club officials continue to stress that Alonso's future is not determined solely by wins and losses. At Real Madrid, performance quality, player development, and tactical identity remain decisive criteria. Sources indicate that while Alonso retains support at board level, patience is conditional. The expectation is not only to win, but to do so in a manner consistent with the club's historical demands. The contrast between Mbappé's individual efficiency and the team's collective imbalance has become increasingly pronounced. Despite his scoring output and public declarations of commitment to the club, Madrid's attack often appears disjointed. Analysts have pointed to issues in spacing, pressing coordination, and defensive transitions as persistent weaknesses that Alonso has yet to resolve. Other key players have also struggled to replicate their best form. Jude Bellingham's influence has fluctuated, Rodrigo has lacked consistency, and Vinícius Júnior's role remains a subject of debate. Alonso's attempts to adjust systems and positions have produced mixed outcomes, leading to criticism that tactical changes are reactive rather than part of a coherent long-term plan. The relationship between Alonso and his squad has come under increased scrutiny following visible moments of tension in recent matches. Although club sources downplay their significance, Spanish media view such episodes as indicators of mounting pressure within the dressing room. In a club where authority and clarity are paramount, any sign of internal friction is quickly magnified. From a competitive standpoint, Real Madrid's position in LaLiga remains precarious. Sitting second and trailing Barcelona, the margin for error continues to shrink. Each fixture now carries added significance, not only for the title race but also for shaping the narrative around Alonso's tenure. Upcoming matches are expected to serve as informal evaluations of whether the team is capable of stabilizing and progressing. For now, Real Madrid exists in a state of contradiction. The results suggest resilience, yet the performances tell a different story. Mbappé's records and statements of loyalty provide moments of optimism, but they coexist with persistent doubts about the project's direction. As scrutiny from Spanish media intensifies, the coming weeks are likely to prove decisive in determining whether Alonso can restore clarity and conviction, or whether the club will once again turn to change in search of control.